that Americans are English originally, right?
All right, so let's start with the conversation today. We have can hello everyone on the live stream. Can you hear me? Okay, I think they can hear me. All right, they can hear me now. All right, so the topic of today's conversation, we're going to talk about New York City.
Yeah.
All right, so do you know? All right, yep, looks like everyone can hear. Okay, so do you know the abbreviation for New York City? Like New York City, that's like it's like a lot to say at once. So do you know what people say it like for short?
For sure, not.
NYC,
Yeah.
just like this.
Yeah.
And
Everyone knows.
NYC. Yeah. So that's called like an abbreviation. It just like you make it shorter. It's just the letters.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what do you know about New York City? Like before I say anything, also everyone on the live stream, if you want to write maybe you know a fact about New York City, you can type it in the chat.
I know only that there is way higher buildings.
Okay, skyscrapers,
Yes,
tall buildings. All right.
maybe Times Center is there, right?
Yeah, Times Square.
It's very popular place
Yeah.
in the world.
Yeah, that's right. So Times Square,
Mhm.
skyscrapers. What else? Do you know like any other facts?
To be honest, I don't remember.
All right. Does anyone on the live stream know any facts about New York City? All right. So let's do like a warm up activity. trying to make a list of vocabulary, like English vocabulary that has to do with a city. So if you know any words that are like about a city, like anything in a city, try to think of it, and let's make a list.
For down the street.
Yeah, street.
The most famous one.
Yeah.
Street, cars,
Cars,
buildings,
buildings.
maybe you say skyscrapers.
Yeah, skyscraper.
Maybe you can add schools,
Yeah, schools.
hospitals, hotels, bars, restaurants, cafes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so you got all the basic vocabulary now. So I'm gonna go over some words that maybe you don't know. It's like more advanced vocabulary about cities. It's not hard to understand, but maybe you'll learn some new words. All right, so okay, so how do you describe like a house like in a building? Not like a single house by itself, but like a house by like in a building.
Complex.
Okay, yeah, complex. And what is the one house called? Like,
In English?
yeah. Do you know the word?
No.
All right. So the British call it one word. What?
No.
So it's really simple. I'm not describing it well. So British have one word for it. Americans have a different word. Like, where do you live? Like, the house.
Well, we live in an apartment.
Right,
building.
apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Americans say apartment.
Maybe in Turkish, apartment.
That's what they say in Turkish.
Apartment, yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Just a little different. Apartment.
Yeah.
Apartment.
And then in Azerbaijan dilinde menzil.
Manzil, yeah.
Okay, and then British, they call it flat. Maybe you've heard that before.
I remember this one.
Like in the textbooks we use at this academy for English, they say flat. But
Americans using it, right?
no, this is British. This is American.
Really?
Yeah.
But most time we're using apartment.
Well, it's from American English. So. British people always say flat, and Europeans say flat. I don't know why. So, all right, that's
Very strange.
yeah, it's interesting. All right, so maybe you've heard of this word before. I'm gonna write it down. It's actually two words in one. Rush hour.
No.
Can you take a guess? What do you think it means?
It should be empty hour, for example. Or with enjoyment.
Okay, so this is actually so there's 2 times every day in the city when the roads are like really crowded, right? Like in the morning when everyone's going to work and school, and in the evening.
Peak times.
What's that?
Peak times. Right?
Yeah, peak times. Like
Whenever we're going to
right.
work, right?
Yeah. In American
Rush
English,
hour.
we call this time rush hour. So we'll say like morning rush hour or evening rush hour. So like it's the hour when like the buses and the metros are like the most crowded.
When happens traffic.
Yeah, traffic, right? So that's another word, traffic jam.
The first word.
So traffic is just like everything that's in the road, right? And then when traffic gets like too much and everyone is stopped, you can say traffic jam. Yeah, traffic jam. So like you like say like call your mom that you're gonna be late. You'll be like, I'm stuck in a traffic jam. I'm gonna be late. Or you can just say traffic. It's more simple, but you can say like traffic jam.
So you mean public is using traffic, but in like in whole, using structure, right?
You can say both.
Same thing.
Also, there's another word that you can say too. It means the same thing, backup. Like I'm stuck in a backup. Backup and traffic jam is the same meaning. But also backup has a second meaning, right? It just means like going backwards, like that. Backup, I'm backing up.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. But the second meaning of backup is traffic jam. All right, so this word, suburbs. Do you know what that means?
No.
All right, so let me write one more word and see.
I thought you were right sandwich.
No. All right, outskirts.
Outskirts should be close, right?
Outskirts is like the surrounding of the city.
Really?
Like outside, it's like the outside, right outside the city. Like you'll say like the outskirts of Baku, so like, I don't know, like you go all the way to the edge of the city, like the end of the city is the outskirts.
Non-central place, right?
Yeah. And then the suburbs of the city, it's like areas outside the city where people live and it's not so crowded. Like maybe like in Baku, it's like all buildings with apartments, right?
Yeah.
In the suburbs, it'll just be like single houses.
Yeah.
So the suburbs outside of Baku, I don't know, maybe like further on,
Yeah.
it's more like single houses.
Homes with gardens, right?
Yeah.
So where I think had to be.
Yeah. So it's like the place is like outside of the city where there's all like homes, like single family homes, like that kind of stuff. And it's usually more quiet. And people always like drive from here to go into the city. Yeah. So that's the suburbs. So it's not the city, but it's also not the countryside, right?
Yeah, it's not famous side of city.
Yeah.
Far from center.
People like to live in the suburbs. Maybe if they have a family and they want to live a more quiet life, but they also work in the city, so they live in the suburbs and then they go to the city for work.
Most of the time, the poor people are living in this side.
Okay, I see. In America, it's sometimes different. There's some suburbs that are more like rich and well off, and other suburbs that are more impoverished and poor. And also in the city, there's some places in cities in the U.S. where it's really rich, like everyone's wealthy, like apartments are too expensive. And then there's other parts of the city where it's like a ghetto or like a slum where the living conditions are very low and there's lots of crime and stuff like that. So it depends where you are
In state.
Yeah. All right, and then let's see this word. So we use this word in the U.S. convenience store. Have you ever heard this?
No, it's very new words for me.
Hello, everyone on the live stream. We're talking about vocabulary words, so you can write something if you know about it. So think about the two words. Do you know what the word convenience means? Like, it's like something is easy to use, or it's like right there so you can use it. So convenience store is just like a small store where you can just go buy like one or two things really quick and then come back. It's not like a big supermarket. So it's more like easy if you just need like one thing.
Is it like a Midwestern
Like a what?
Midwestern or not?
I don't know.
I'm sorry, is it food or not non-food or?
It's not like a restaurant. It's like, okay, you know, like a supermarket like Bravo or Bazaar store. It's like this except really small.
Yeah, a small mini market.
Yeah, mini market, exactly. It's a mini market.
Yeah.
The same thing. Just in U.S. English, we'll say like convenience store.
Yeah, I got. For example, in Turkish they say makkah.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
it's small and near to home, so you don't have to go to the supermarket in the far away.
Yeah, yeah.
Just to the small market.
Yeah, exactly. That's what this is. So in U.S. we have different convenience stores. Like maybe you've heard of it, like 7-Eleven.
When you buy, when you need only one or two things, you
Yeah.
have to go there. But when you need a lot of things, you have to go to the supermarket.
Yeah, right. Because it's usually more expensive,
Uh-huh.
right?
It's expensive.
A convenience store. Okay, so if I want to buy milk, they have the convenience
Yeah.
store, but it's more expensive because
Of course, it's
yeah.
expensive because it's a small place and they have to pay
Yeah,
more
yeah.
taxes. That's why.
Yeah, so if I need to buy like all the food for the whole week, then I go to the supermarket. But if I just need like one or two things, I go here. So in the U.S. we have the most famous one is called 7-Eleven. Also, if I don't know, do you ever watch the show called The Simpsons?
Not often, but sometimes when I see
There's
TikToks or anything.
there's a store in that show it's like 7-Eleven. So yeah, let's see, what else do we have? All right, and then the last word I'll go over is, you probably already know it.
Simpsons is also political.
Oh yeah, I know. Nightlife.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah. So what? Can you explain it? What is it?
Yes, yeah. It's me. When everyone stops, in general, when people stops to work, have to relax, have to enjoy,
Okay.
have to come back to home.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so actually in American English, nightlife means something a little bit different. It means like places in a city that you can go to at night for entertainment. So not like stuff at your home, but it means like places like clubs or bars or restaurants that are open at night. So people will say like, for example, New York City has a lot of nightlife. This means that at night in New York City, there's a lot of places you can go to for entertainment. So yeah, it doesn't mean like stuff at home. It just means like places that you go to, right? Mm-hmm.
Enjoyment place.
Yeah, yeah.
Like casino.
What's that?
Casino.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like Las Vegas. Have you heard of Las Vegas City?
Yeah.
That city is like a nightlife city. It has like a lot of stuff, like casinos and stuff like that. Like usually nightlife things are things that are not like so good. Like you shouldn't have like kids, like that kind of stuff. And it's more like people who are like, I don't know, like city type of people. Like it's like has like more alcohol, like stuff like this that a lot of people think are bad. So nightlife, it's just a word to describe all of that. All right. So do you know what this word means? Nickname.
Yeah, of course.
All right. So every city has like a nickname, right?
Yeah, I know. For example, Baku is have.
Yeah.
City of Lions.
Right. Baku, the city of wind. And why is it called that?
Because it's very windy.
Yeah.
Caspian Sea always makes wind.
Yeah, exactly. So it's called the Windy City because it's literally a windy city. So New York City also has a few nicknames. If you didn't know.
No.
All right, so I'll write them down. So the first one, probably the most famous one, is this. The Big Apple. Have you heard that before?
No.
Okay, so people say like it's like a nickname for New York City, and if you ever go to New York City, you'll see like I don't know, like apples, like pictures of apples, or like maybe like a monument or just something that's like an apple. The reason why they call New York City the Big Apple is because a long time ago they used to have lots of horse races around the city.
What?
Horse races,
Horse races.
like at Yiddish,
Yeah.
around the city.
Uh-huh.
And after the horse race, they gave all the horses like apples. So for some reason, they started calling New York the Big Apple, and it stuck. And now, if you ever hear this term, it means New York City. So it's kind of weird, but
I thought it's related with Apple company.
yeah, that's what I thought too. I didn't know the reason why, and when I was looking on the internet, I found out the real reason. So I learned something too. But people say this a lot, so you'll like if you hear it in like movies or shows, now you'll understand. They just mean New York. All right, and then there's another nickname. It's not really a name, but it's kind of like a saying about the city. So the city's so nice, they named it twice.
So interesting.
And this is just about New York. And there's actually a reason why.
Ah. Um,
So
they have changed the name to that.
okay, that's a good guess, but that's not exactly why. So why is it the city's so nice they named it twice? Because do you know what state New York City is in? So in the U.S. there's 50 states, right?
Yeah.
So which state is New York City in?
In which state?
Yeah, in which state?
Not Alabama.
You don't know?
Not Alabama.
No, it's not Alabama. So it's actually New York City is in New York State. So they both have the same name. So when you write,
So that's why.
yeah, so when you write the address for New York, like when you're sending mail or something, like you know how you have to write like Baku, like and then the number. When you write New York, so in the US when you're writing a mail, like a letter, the address has the city and then the state. So when you write the address for New York, it's like this: New York.
It's twice time.
Yeah, New York, New York. So that's why they say the city's so nice they named it twice. Because this is the city and this is the state. So New York City, New York State. So it's actually kind of confusing whenever people say like,
Yeah.
I'm going to New York, you always have to ask like the city or the state. And I think a lot of times people who live in New York City forget that they also live in New York State. So people who aren't from there don't really like whenever they ask, they're always like, why do you need to ask? Like, I don't know. New York City is a lot different from the rest of America. But at the same time, it's like the cultural center of America.
Yeah. It's more popular than the capital.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
Some people maybe think that New York is capital.
Yeah, right, exactly. Kind of like how like Istanbul is not the capital of Turkey. Like, and whenever someone goes to Turkey,
Nice
they
word, well.
yeah, Like people want to go to Istanbul for tourist things, not Ankara, right?
Uh,
So it's
Istanbul is have 30 million population,
uh
and most of the Turkish population lives in this side, left side.
yeah. So all right, so I'll tell you some basic facts about New York City. So in the city, there's a population of 8.8 million. So let me write it out, actually. So the population in the city is like 8,800,000. That's how many people live in the city. But like around the city, like the whole like metro area, it's something like 23,500,000. So that's inside the city, and that's like the around the city. So it's the most populated city in the whole United States.
Yeah.
And it's also like the most crowded city in the United States. So also another interesting fact is in New York City, 3,200,000 people, like 3,200,000 residents in New York City were not born in the United States. So that means like 3,200,000. This many people who live in New York City were not born there, and they were born in a different country.
But they didn't belong there.
Yeah, but they live here now. Maybe they immigrated from other countries or they're on like work visas or something like that. So because of this, New York City is like one of the most diverse places in America. Do you understand what the word diverse means?
Diverse.
Yeah.
No.
Diverse, also cosmopolitan, like Beynelmilel.
Yeah. Not Beynelmilel, it should be taxes, right?
Yeah,
Which
maybe.
is not supporting anything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be taxes.
Mhm. So, can you take a guess how many different languages are spoken in New York City? If anyone's watching the live stream, you can guess in the comments how many languages do you think are spoken in New York City?
I guess minimum 5 or 10.
Mhm.
Minimum.
Okay, it's higher than that actually.
Higher.
Yeah.
Oh,
Remember I said there's
it should be, I think the second one should be Spanish.
yeah, okay, so we have like English, Spanish, and also Chinese are like the most spoken languages. But I said there's over 3 million people who live in New York City who are from other countries. So there's a lot more languages than that. So you want to try and guess one more time?
So if they are all foreigners, so they are all speaking their own emotional language.
Someone here in the chat took a guess 600 languages, and that's actually close. It's closer. Yeah, it's close, but not exactly.
One K.
Okay, it's actually 800. About 800 languages. So in New York City, it's reported that there's 800 different languages spoken by people like every day. But mostly in the street, everyone uses. There's three main languages that people say like in public. It's English, Spanish, and Chinese. So these are the three most common languages that you'll see in the street in New York City. English is number one, Spanish number two, and Chinese number three. So there's even a neighborhood in New York City where it's all Chinese people, and if you go there, everybody speaks Chinese and everyone, there's Chinese restaurants, there's Chinese stores, everything's Chinese.
It's so interesting because USA have really bad relations with China.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's interesting.
Yeah. So
if it's in the certain place.
yeah, and also because of this reason, police officers and also firefighters in New York City take Chinese language classes. So the police and the fire and also like ambulance and hospital workers, they try to like teach them like basic Chinese words if they work near this area. It's actually called Chinatown. Maybe you've heard of it. In New York City, it's called Chinatown. All right, so now I want, if anyone's watching, you can answer too. Talk about some basic facts about your home city or your hometown. Like you can like take a few minutes to think about it. Just like anything that you can think of in your head.
Yeah.
And if you're on the live stream, you can type in the comments. What is an interesting fact about your home city or your hometown?
Our second most spoken language is unfortunately Russian.
Ah, okay.
And in the past, Baku was only with Cheryshahat,
Yeah.
city. Was only
It's like the original city.
Only from this.
Yeah.
And then in the time went past,
Mm-hmm.
it started to be greater city.
Yeah. The city expanded, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe prices in Baku are higher than in Sungay city.
Ah, okay.
Maybe in the world, maybe I can speak in Sungay, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
In Sungay, we have a cemetery of the children.
Mm-hmm.
In the world, it's very popular. There is, I saw with my own eyes, it's very charitable.
Mm-hmm.
It's happened because of this city is city of factories.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's a lot of factories everywhere. Weather is very dirty there, so I don't know why to come visit this city. Yeah, and there is prices are less than in Baku.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and it's a new city than Baku.
Ah, so it's newer.
Uh-huh.
Ah, interesting.
Maybe Baku was the goal of the Hitler, if you know.
Oh yeah. During the Great War. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of the oil infrastructure.
Oil.
Yeah.
Where in oil there is big countries, Russia and
Yeah.
United States.
Ah, okay. So those are some interesting facts about Baku.
Yeah. In the past, when technology was lost, governments like this,
Mm-hmm.
they cherish all people, not only children, maybe older people are starting to defend their homeland,
Mm-hmm.
their city with rocks.
Oh,
When
I
in fact it was near to the sea,
Mm.
in fact it was very near to the sea. When time goes, it started to go. I mean the sea.
see. Yeah.
The sea started to go.
Yeah, the sea like
Because-
receded. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Maiden Tower, maybe it's very famous.
Ah, so Maiden Tower the sea used to be closer to Maiden Tower.
No, we still don't know how this tower was made.
Mm-hmm.
Some scientists say that belongs to the Sultan's dacha. He put her inside of the
Mhm.
tower, and she stayed there as a jail like this.
Yeah.
That's along the map,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He put
as like a punishment, right?
Punishment.
Yeah.
I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a punishment, and she killed herself with suicide from there. So that's why it's called Kızgası.
Oh, I
The
see.
tower.
Interesting. And
Yeah.
also, someone in the chat said another interesting fact about Azerbaijan is that there are lots of mud volcanoes. Mud volcanoes. Mud volcano.
Volcans.
Yeah, volcano.
Volcans. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We're not going there. There's going most of the tourists. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's like a tourist place.
Yeah, it's free.
It's what?
Free.
It's free?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so now I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the main attractions in New York City. So maybe you've heard of them before. I'm going to write it on the board first. The first one is Statue of Liberty.
There you go.
Do you know what it is?
Because of this.
Yeah, exactly, right over there. So let me show. So Statue of Liberty, for anyone watching,
Maybe I heard that was a
Is-
gift of the French or
yeah, right. So actually,
Yeah.
the Statue of Liberty was a gift from France, in 1886. This year.
Maybe it was in another color, but by the way there's happened to change the process.
Yeah, right.
It's changed the color.
Exactly. So this is the Statue of Liberty. It was a gift from France to the United States in 1886. And like Rusem was saying, this used to be gold, but because of the weather, it turned into this bluish, greenish color. So before it was gold, but now it's this color because of the weather.
Maybe it was in the parts, right? And it was built.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah, so it's actually like on an island, like outside of New York City. So you can go there by boat. And do you know?
Yeah. You mean,
Yeah, Ada. Yeah. Do you know what it represents? Does anyone know what?
I remember from the pictures.
What does this represent? Like, what is the symbol? Do you know like what the symbol of the Statue of Liberty is?
Symbol.
Yeah.
Symbol of liberty.
Right. This represents freedom, American freedom and American liberty. Right. Someone said freedom.
When we talk about democracy, we're saying that America is a homeland of democracy.
Yeah. So it means like
Yeah.
home of the free. That's what we say in America, home of the free. All right, so the next place in New York, which is interesting, is Central Park. So have you ever heard of Central Park?
For a long time. Maybe I've watched the Madagascar.
Yeah, right. So
Yeah.
Central Park, if anyone saw the movie Madagascar, Central Park is where the zoo is, where the animals are from.
But like, it was very interesting.
Yeah.
Between buildings.
Everyone on the live stream, this is Central Park. You can see all of the buildings, and in between the buildings is a huge park.
Like a class.
Yeah, right. There's forests, there's lakes, there's a zoo, there's lots of activities. There's also like a golf course. You can go there and relax and ride a bike.
People fly from the buildings and they have to relax there.
Yeah.
Refresh their brain in this natural place.
Yeah. So and it's so big. It's like
Yeah, I saw
4 kilometers long. Central Park is 4 kilometers inside of the city. Okay, so one more place I'll talk about. Yeah, Times Square. So do you know anything about Times Square?
I know only one building there. It's
Mhm.
like a pyramid, right? Pyramid from the upside.
Oh,
Then
actually,
from the front, it goes like this.
yeah, you're right, you're right.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
there's a building.
This one.
It's way older.
I don't know if you can see.
I don't
I think
see
it's the one in the
this
middle.
one.
Yeah.
It's way older. Was built like in
So this is Times Square in New York.
18th years, like this.
Yeah, right.
It should be well.
So this is one of the most famous places in New York City. It's like the center or like the Merkez. It's always crowded, like hem her Wasserbuster, right?
Normal.
Yeah, but it's always crowded. And on New Year's Eve, there's always a famous event that people go to.
Yeah, I watched
Yeah.
before.
So New Year's Eve in Times Square is very famous.
There, from the 10 seconds to the one
Uh-huh.
with Christmas, for New Year.
Yeah, on New Year's.
Uh,
So which of those sites is the most interesting for you?
there is biggest series.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why it's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It makes not ordinary. It makes different.
Yeah.
This is this street way.
So someone in the comments said that they know this place and they want to go there. It's one of their dreams. So I hope you can go there someday. And what about I said 3 places: Statue of Liberty, Central Park, and Times Square. Which one is your favorite that you want to see the most?
Central, sorry. Park. Which one?
Central Park.
Central Park. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think I want to go to Central Park too. All right, so let's see. The next activity is okay, so everyone knows there's lots of movies and films that are from New York City, right? Like shows, programs, and films, a lot in New York City.
Jackie Chan.
Yeah, okay, so let's make a list. What are some films and programs that you know that are filmed in New York City?
Programs.
Yeah, so movies or shows?
I don't know if this program related with New York, but I know it's Jimmy Fallon.
Oh yeah, Jimmy Fallon.
And DeGeneres.
Yeah. Right. Also, maybe you've heard of this movie. It might be the most famous movie from New York City. King Kong. Yeah. Also,
I have watched
this show, I think everyone in Azerbaijan watches this show. At least everyone talks about it here. Friends. Have you heard of it?
No.
Okay. I heard. Okay, in the comments. Let's see. We have Don't Look Up and Little Women. Have you heard of those? Don't Look Up or Little Women?
Don't we talk about
It's a film from New York City.
no. Wait. Is it a little baby?
Actually, I don't know. I've never seen it.
Syria Bahama. It's the place. I know, you are right.
All right, so Don't Look Up and Little Women. Also, maybe. Oh yeah, the new Spider-Man movie. New Spider-Man movie.
Most famous.
Right. So yeah, New York City is a place where everyone always wants to make movies and shows and all that kind of stuff. So have you seen any of these?
Only two.
Which one?
The first and second.
Spider-Man and King Kong?
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about some questions.
Maybe I said the Jake Chan film that.
Oh yeah, Jackie Chan.
With that black person in the first rows. Comedy.
Oh, also other films from in New York City: Ocean's 8, Martian, and The Upside. Yeah, there's a lot of movies and shows from New York City. All right, so now I have some questions. Would you prefer to live in the city or the suburbs?
Because of the getting easily to work.
Okay, so you prefer the center. What about on the live stream? Does anyone prefer the city or the suburbs?
Talk about comfortable living, of course, suburbs. But maybe about thieves, it's bad for suburbs. Yeah. Every choices have plus and
Right.
and
So living in the city has advantages and it also has disadvantages.
Georgia waited the first
Right.
something for our organism.
Yeah, so in the city there's some disadvantages, right? Pollution,
Yeah.
also traffic, it's crowded.
Maybe traffic is also bad for brain, for the nervous system.
Mhm. Also, it can be more stressful to live in a city. It's noisy, always noisy.
Very noisy.
Mhm. And then, what about the suburbs outside the city? What are some disadvantages of living outside of the city? Okay, this person in the comments, someone said, I would prefer the city, but probably I would go to the countryside in the summer. I like that idea. That's a good idea.
Of course, if you have some.
Yeah. All right, so advantages of the suburbs, maybe it's quiet, you can have a bigger house.
Maybe you can listen lovely music.
Yeah, you can listen to music.
Annoying of your
Neighbors.
Yeah.
And then disadvantages are you're far from the center.
Yeah, it's always the first battery.
Yeah. All right, so if you could choose one city in the whole world to live in, what would you choose? Which city in the whole world do you choose to live in?
In the world?
Yeah, you can choose one city to live in.
I think Spanish because like Madrid or Barcelona, do you know why?
Why?
Because their buildings, if you check our map of the cities, they are very, these are how to explain. You have, I have to translate it.
You can say it in Azerbaijani too, maybe.
Nizam intizam, how to say it.
Oh, Nizami
It's
Kuchasi
not like
King?
this, it's professionally made, if you understand.
Okay. Yeah, I think I know.
Yeah, that's why.
Okay.
So maybe when the buildings are right,
Uh-huh.
or built right, so there is will be no traffic maybe.
I
But
see.
when it's
Okay, so someone in the live stream said they choose London. That's a good choice. London's a really nice city. I think for me, I don't know what I would choose.
statue,
What?
statue,
Can I see?
this one, this going down. That's what is doing.
I think I understand what you mean, but I think
It's to work with introduction.
it's like
Regulation.
yeah.
Regulation of buildings. There is very well.
Okay, so all right, everyone. Thank you for coming to Conversation Club today. If you're on the live stream, thank you for attending, and thank you for all your comments. It was really interesting, and I hope you can come next time. Next time, probably on Monday, and I'll make an announcement about that. All right. Goodbye, everybody.